Welcome, everyone, to the Word of the Day podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Silva. There will be two words featured today because in order to understand the second, it would probably help to know the first. That first word is pejorative. Now, prejudicial, which, as you all know, I featured in episode 3, is actually pretty similar to pejorative, so maybe go back and listen to that if you haven't already. They're kind of linguistic cousins. So, as an adjective, pejorative refers to a statement or word that has a negative and probably insulting connotation. Not necessarily, but probably. As a noun, it is a word that has a negative and probably insulting connotation. The standard definition from online of this adjective form is, quote, expressing contempt or disapproval, end quote. And the noun is a word expressing contempt or disapproval. So two sides of the same coin. I actually like Merriam-Webster's take a little better. They just say having a negative connotation. And in either case, I think that the meaning is pretty clear. Let's dig a little deeper here. So consider the statement that Steve is a bit scatterbrained. Here, pejorative as an adjective tells us what kind of statement it was, a pejorative statement. But also, the term scatterbrained is itself a pejorative, and that's the noun form. It's just like the difference between that was an insulting thing to say, in which insulting is an adjective describing what was said, versus that was an insult, insult being a noun there. But it's important to remember that pejoratives are not openly or directly insulting. Similarly to prejudicial, they have to be a little bit more subtle. They imply negative things, but they don't quite come out and say them. So Steve is a loser would just be an insult. It would not really qualify as a pejorative. And now a quick etymology interlude. Pejorative comes from the Latin word perare, meaning to make worse. And this is echoed in contemporary Spanish as well. Empeorar means something similar, to get worse or to become worse. Also, even though it isn't very good, I don't want to hear anything pejorative about my Spanish pronunciation, and it's rather bold of me to even attempt it in a recorded setting. At least when I say the Latin word, no one really knows what that's supposed to sound like, thanks to it being a dead language and all that. But that aside, you can see the connection between these linguistic roots and the modern meaning. So words that are pejorative could be said to worsen our opinion of the subject, or perhaps they just imply that the subject is worse or bad in some fashion, something like that. So let's do some examples. Example number 1. Kevin always found the must be this tall to go on ride signs a bit pejorative, kind of like saying must be this tall to have fun, or must be this tall to be cool. Example number 2. Danielle braved a stream of muttered pejoratives as she cut in line to join her friend at the coffee shop. To retaliate, she ordered fancy coffees for everyone back in her office, thus occupying the barista's time for several minutes. It was an expensive but satisfying revenge. The next word is vacuous. So a vacuum, scientifically speaking, is a space that is totally devoid of matter. In short, it's empty. In the same way, vacuous, which is an adjective, describes ideas, activities, or, sadly, people that are substance-free or superficial. And in either case, it has a distinctly negative connotation, and therefore it is pejorative. And it is a pejorative as well. So again, it could be insulting, and it can just be an insult. Now the online definition. Quote, having or showing a lack of thought or intelligence, mindless, end quote. Well, this is a little harsh, but it's essentially accurate. But mindlessness, mind you, is very much in the mind of the beholder. Everyone's a bit of a snob or a serious snob in regard to the hobbies or activities or ideas that they don't care for. And if some people spend inordinate amounts of time on those things, critiques may be coming, though hopefully only if provoked. Let's grab an example or two in which the word vacuous is applied to activities. You can apply it to people too, but since that's not quite as nice, we won't do that here. Watching sports is so vacuous, said Leslie. You sit there, you yell periodically at arbitrary events happening on a distant field or court or whatever, and then you go to bed angry if the team wearing your preferred laundry loses. Such a waste. Oh yeah, replied Evan. Well, you spend like 4 hours a day updating your ridiculous food-framed photography blog. It's like I can't even make a bowl of cereal around here without seeing it incorporated into a long, vacuous photo essay about how mini-wheats reflect the unwarranted glorification of fiber in today's society. So there it is. Like I said, it's not complimentary. It's definitely pejorative. So that's it for me. That's it for the show. Don't forget that we have our very own website, wotdpodcast.com. That's WOTD as in word of the day, where you can learn all about the show and get in touch with us, find the show on iTunes, and leave a review that is neither vacuous nor pejorative. I'm Jamie Silva, and as always, thank you for listening.